So obviously my own viewpoint on marriage and kids is yes, do it. Do it. Have marriage, have kids, do it. And I'm gonna be straight out with you. Marriage is between one man and one woman. Nothing else. Marriage is between one man and one woman. Kids, I think everyone should have kids. You know, I think, even though the world is so messed up these days, it's important to have kids because they are children of God. And God knew you before you were even in the womb. Yes. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Exactly, yes. That's from the King James. I'm actually reading NIV. But yeah, that is why man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife and they become one flesh, yes. That is Genesis 2:24. Children are even considered a blessing of God, yes. That gets me into my abortion thing. But I will talk about the family and stuff first. But yes, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Oh yes. I think husbands need to be the leader and of course still respect and love their wives very much. Yes. But it also says here on 24 it says no. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Yes, I agree with that. Yes. So yeah, we need to respect each other. Wives need to submit to their husbands, and husbands need to oops my bad, I will change that. Hold on, there we go. Okay. I need a separate tab. There we go. But yes, wives need to be respectful to their husbands. Husbands need to be respectful to their wives. Love them like the church. Love them like Christ loved the church. That's what I meant to say. Yes. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. Can you not do that? Okay. Yes. I like this one too. Ephesians 5:31. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and two will become one flesh. So, a husband needs to leave, and, obviously, husbands need to do, let's see, what comes first, right? God, above all. God comes above all. Spouse, mother, child, or no, sorry. I meant to say child, mother. Husbands need to put God first, then their spouse, then their children, then their mother. That is the way. However, each one of you must also love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Yes, that is, yeah. Also, I'm reading from NIV if you don't know. I'm reading from the NIV. So, and it's like the people these days like that aren't, obviously that are worldly. They think, "Oh, wives and husbands are the same. They need to give just as much effort." Like obviously, well, yes, they need to give much effort, but they think, "Oh, well, women need to also bring home the bacon," as they say. So it's, it's like, no, Obviously women can work if they want, but I think the husbands being in charge, being, the leader is what needs to happen. Um, and I think if that doesn't happen and God is not in the center of your relationship, I think a lot of things could go wrong. I think relationships like that don't tend to stay together. Are you getting married to River? I hope so. Yeah. Are we discussing the verse about wives that everyone takes out of context and gets mad over? Yeah. I haven't gotten into that specifically, but yeah. Yeah, everyone gets upset at the wives submitting to their husbands. It's like, yeah, this one. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Um Everyone takes that as like, I don't know. I feel like people take that as slavery. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. But I think worldly people like to make it out to be a bad thing. Like, oh, what do you mean by submit? You mean the wives should be slaves? Like, no, that's not what that means. In a way, yes, she can work, though Proverbs 31 does describe it more so like a homemaker type, so it's not as heavy as what a husband does for work. Exactly, exactly. I think wives work um just as hard, but in their own way. So usually they stay home, clean the house, take care of the kids, stuff like that, while the husband goes to work and earns the dough. Also, ad incoming, guys. Sorry about the ads. I won't get too much into it while ads are running, but ads are incoming. But yeah. Yeah, people on the internet, the wives versus, yes, people like to take those out of context and yeah. They're like, ew, that's gross. No. Because also, if you read the next verse, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So, husbands also need to love their wives, make her holy, cleansing. Uh, her by the washing with water through the word, and to present herself, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. So basically, if you want a happy marriage, husbands love your wives, wives love your husbands. Wives love your husbands. Okay, let me start over. If you want a happy marriage, husbands love your wives like Christ loved the church. Wives love your husbands. Submit to them, be respectful. But both of you work hard. Yes. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed care for their body just as Christ does the church. For we are members of his body. Yes. So also, you know, uh sorry, I lost my thought. Oh my gosh. Husband and wives are a team. They work together. None of us is beneath the other. They're equals. Exactly. Yes, they are equals. But um the husband should be like the main, like the leader. He is the lead of the house. That is how it should be. Yes. But they are equal. People Worldly people don't agree with that. They're like, "No, the wife should be the leader, or both of them should be the leader."
This is a good Valentine's Day chapter.
Yeah. We're in the Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. But yes, as I was saying, husband and wives are equal. Yes. Equal value. We are all children of God. But husbands should be the leader of the household. But still respecting their wives and loving them, taking care of them, and all that. Basically, it literally says you should be willing to lay down your life for your wife. Yep, exactly. Yes. Again, husbands need to put their spouse first. Well, God, of course. God is above all. But after that, then he puts his spouse first. John 3:16, but that is not to take an excuse to continue to sin, because sin destroys and God is all-knowing and can't be fooled. You're right, warrior. Thank you. Yes. But yeah, again, worldly people take it at like where is it? The wives should submit to their husbands. But if you take a look at like this verse right here, now as the church submits to Christ. Oh.
Wait, so you're saying I have to die to have a wife? Sorry, I tend to joke too much sometimes. I'll shut up now.
Thank you, Titan, for the biddies. Yes, you have to die. Yes. No. But Ephesians 5:24 says, "Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything." So when the Bible says submit, that doesn't mean like slavery when as people would take that in the worldly view. It just means like he's the leader, so we have to respect him. Yes. Men can often see respect as more important, and I guess women can see love as more important. Yeah, I agree, yes. People take it the wrong way. This one, 23, says, "For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the savior." Literally says right there. "For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church." Literally. People be like, where in the Bible does it say husbands are the head or the leader? Give them Ephesians 5:23. Right here. Yes. Oh, sorry, I wasn't scrolled up. There we go. Right here. Yes. But yeah, people take it wrong, of course. They cherry pick and are like, ew, gross. Wives submitting to their husbands. Now, obviously, like, the word submit, I think, isn't modernized enough, so it may sound a little odd to people. Like, even me, like, I'm like, the word submit is a little like, I'm not a huge fan of that word, but, like, the meaning behind it, and, obviously the modern term submit is a little different, so it's, obviously that's why people have problems with it, but, it was kinda submit is kind of a strong word, yeah, but I think it was different in the time, so. As a guy, I think where some people misinterpret this verse is that it is the husband forcing the wife to submit, as opposed to the wife submitting on their own accord. A good husband is someone who loves his wife and she wants to submit to. That's my take anyway. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. Yeah. People do take it as like the husbands are forcing their wives to like submit. I think that's a good way to put it. A lot of people take it that way, when that is absolutely not what is happening. Obviously wives do it on their own accord. Yes. So, obviously that is that. But if we go to, let's see, where is it? we go to Colossians 18, wives, submit yourself to your husband as fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. So it's basically saying mutual and mutual submission and affection, between both. Many words back then, Jay's different meanings now, so it's easier for people these days to misinterpret the Bible. Yes, I agree. Yes. But that's why you have to kind of just have common sense. And just be like, oh yeah, this is the Bible. It speaks differently, but it means same thing, yeah. So. But people definitely take it the wrong way for sure. But obviously, and then children, of course. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Right here. So children should also obey their parents as well. But yeah. It's kind of the same thing. I was reading this just now. Slaves, obey your earthly masters and everything. Basically the same thing. It's the same thing with the word slaves. The word slaves is more modernized these days, and so it means like really bad, like hard labor, or just other things that aren't appropriate. I think slaves is a strong word these days, a very strong word these days. I think slaves in the Bible, I think the word more meant like servant, I think it's more about the word like servant, I'd say. But of course, people take it the wrong way these days. And they're like, oh, well, the Bible says slavery is a good thing. No. No. I also do want to talk about how people these days also take marriage for granted. You know, it's like some people will get married on a whim and just be like, yeah, I want to marry this person, and I just, and Christ is not in the center of it, and it's like, well, bond slaves. Yeah, exactly. And some people will wait like 10 years to get married to the person they love, and it's like, why wait? Why wait? Marriage is spiritual. You can, yeah, I don't know why the cheer's not working, Titan. I think you might be doing it wrong. I don't know. You can be a slave to your career/job these days. Exactly, yes. But yeah. Marriage is spiritual. It's, about one man and one woman becoming one flesh, you know. Nothing else. It can't be anything else. If you're getting married just because, or you're getting married and you're homosexual, it's like that's going against God's design. Oh yes, they take it for granted far too much, and it ruins the perspective of what it's meant to be. There's also others who idolize the romanticized version of it too, which is sad. Marriage is also not just love. It's choosing to love. It's not just about like romantic mushy gushy love, It's like, sure, there is that in the marriage, but it's not going to be like that all the time. A lot can wait because they don't get anything out of it. They already live together and whatnot. Exactly, yeah. And it's like, Yeah, and also living together before marriage, depending on the circumstance, obviously, but uh, like alone, alone, or maybe with roommates. No, living together before marriage is a no-no. Um, but you know, yeah, people don't realize that marriage is spiritual and it's supposed to be God-centered. Um, it's yeah. And people like to wait, or people like to, just get married on a whim, and it's like it holds a lot more meaning, and of course love isn't the, you're choosing to love somebody. You have to like, you know obviously you fell in love with this person, you want to marry them, yes, but thank you,
I
Titan.
found the button. Boomer identified.
um but obviously, like, marriage is going to be really hard. At times, you're not going to feel love at all. Like, sometimes it'll be really hard and you won't feel love, you won't feel romance. That's what marriage is, though. It's going to be like that sometimes. It could be like that for months or years. But you work through it with your partner. You work through it. Um, and eventually it'll be better again. And then it might get bad again, but then you work through that again. It's people also get divorce, which divorce is a big no-no as well. Divorce is not biblical. When you marry somebody, you are committed for life. There's no way out. The only way out is like abuse, probably. Adultery or abuse, which it says in the Bible, that's when divorce is okay, is abuse or adultery. So, but other than that, you need to work through your problems. Work through your problems. Don't just get a divorce. People these days, they have one really bad fight and they're like, well, guess we need to get a divorce. No, that's why communication is best. Communication, working things out. You need to just work on your marriage. Go get marriage counseling if you really need to. It's yeah. That's what a lot of people just take marriage for granted these days. They really do.